Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of the Digimon Fusion Digi-Fusion Loader. My first Digimon review on the channel. I'm sort of excited just because I love Cross Wars and it's my favorite series, and I get Fusion as an extension of that. So anyway, this is our sort of Digivice for this year so far. Quite a bit different than what we have gotten previously from Bandai in the previous Digimon series, but I'll get more into that in a minute. I just want to take a quick look at the box since this is a new line and whatnot. The box is actually pretty neat and pretty much reminds me of the way Digivice boxes used to be, mainly like the D-Power and stuff. You got the Fusion logo up there, that's obviously where the Digivice and cards were. Mikey down there, it says Digi-Fusion Loader. Shows what comes with it. It says Battle Like Mikey. It's like Mike, but with Digimon. And then on the side, it just shows you sort of how things work. On the side here, it's got a cool picture of Xiaomon, Ballistamon, and just the whole Fusion Fighters Team Crossheart Team Crossheart for life. And then mainly why I wanted to show this is look at this kid. This kid is the worst. They pick like the most obnoxious looking kids for their packages. Anyway, the box is pretty neat. The box did kind of remind me of like, you know, the old D-Power box. But so anyway, the Digivice is quite different. Here is the Cross Loader, or the Fusion Loader. I guess in terms of color, it is pretty accurate. I mean, they got this part up here, it's all red. The base screen is fairly accurate, except these little Digi alphabet things. But it's kind of flat and bulky, and not at all what you'd expect. Previously, if you were a Digimon fan and you've been following them for a while, you know, the Digimon Digivices were virtual pets that you'd kind of play in battle with, adding various gimmicks throughout the years. I mean, they pretty much remained battle pets for the original Digivice and the D3. The D-Power had a card gimmick where you'd scan the card, and there was an online game, I believe. There was a gimmick for the Frontier Digivice, the Detector, I believe. I know it had like a scanner on the top, but I can't specifically remember what the gimmick was, but they had one. And then, you know, the Data Squad had a little bit of a scanner thing on the top as well. But this time we get this sort of card reader. I do hope we get a regular virtual pet one later, but this is what we got for now. For comparison to the alternative, this is the Cross Loader, the Japanese version, which is obviously a lot better. This slides up. It's actually a full color game. This wheel spins around. You can put little Digi-memories in here. They're actually not that pricey. I think I got mine for about 40 bucks, which is about what they're going for, which is pretty good considering they actually went for pretty expensive for quite a while. So if you're exclusively a Cross Wars fan and you're one of those people that are like annoying and are disgusted by the dub, or you're just exclusively a Cross Wars fan, then you probably want to go for this. I don't really think we'll get something like this in terms of like the full color adventure game they got going on, but I'd like to maybe see down the line a more traditional Digivice, because, you know, if this keeps going, we've still got quite a while left. We have all of Fusion, and then if they decide to dub Hunters. Anyway, let's get to the toy itself instead of me just talking about Digimon history. So just turn it on up here. There's no activation sounds. There's no activation sounds or anything like that. So the noises it makes are all based on this sort of press screen here, which kind of reminds me of the Omnitrix touch and whatnot that they also make, because they're also Bandai. If you just kind of press around here, you get random noises. But the bulk of the noises come from this little pad up here, in which you press this, and a various combination will get you different noises. You just kind of get a generic fusion sound if you press it like that. So that will sort of start a mode, and then you can just randomly push buttons.
Team Fusion Fighters!
And it'll say Team Fusion Fighters. You can just sort of Axe Nightmon. You can mess around with it. I actually find it easier to mess around with it with cards on, because these buttons are so small. If your fingers are big, then you can have a hard time pressing. And when I have actual numbers on there, it's just easier for me because I'm a child. But you can mess around with it and get all the various combinations. So yeah, they're all little letters of the Digi alphabet, and they're all individually pressable. It's kind of neat that they kept the Digi alphabet thing, because they've been using that in this line for quite a while. I don't know, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it, but that little tiny like computer-like thing from Season 2 had like the alphabet on the top in a translator. That was a pretty neat toy. I really dug that. I messed around a lot with that when I was a kid. Anyway, so you get these cards with it, which essentially have the front faceplate of a Fusion Loader and kind of got stuff like that going on. You get Shoutmon here, Ballistamon, Darulumon, Greymon, and Male Birdramon. And Greymon and Male Birdramon are from Team Blue Flare, so that's different. And But that's fine, I'm glad you have more noises. And if you can see on here, there are little numbers here, and that corresponds to the order in which you're supposed to press to get their noises. So let's go ahead and try that out. You're going to want to, there's a little hand here, which I'm assuming, which is what it's for, but you're going to want to put it in there carefully, because otherwise you're going to press the button on here and possibly reset the sounds. It is actually very sensitive. So let's press that in there, and so I'll hold this down, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And it will say Shoutmon. Then you can do Digi-Fusion as well. So just place him in there. And we'll do Ballistamon.
Legendary Digimon.
See, that was a perfect example of how sensitive it is I just very slightly was off of one of the buttons, and it messed it up. And Legendary Digimon is a sound you get frequently. I'm assuming there might be some different figures that will have that, and they'll just all be generic sounds. So let's try to get Ballistamon this time.
Ballistamon.
There we go. So they all will have their individual sounds. I'll do those real quick, and then we'll do some fusions. Let's do Darulumon.
Darulumon.
Darulumon. And then we got... Whoops. Greymon. Greymon. And they all kind of have the Taiki sounding voice. It sounds pretty close to Taiki if it's not. Or Mikey, I'm sorry. I don't want to sound like a snob, but just sometimes, you know, I look at him and I associate his name.
Male Birdramon.
Male Birdramon. So then you can do fusions. Let me show you. You put Shoutmon in. Okay, so you got Shoutmon in there.
Shoutmon.
And Digi-Fusion. And then put in, like, Ballistamon. And then press the buttons.
Ballistamon. Shoutmon times 2.
Shoutmon times 2.
Digi-Fusion.
Do it again. This time Darulumon. No.
Darulumon. Shoutmon times 3.
Times 3. And then you can add the Starmon's card to get times 4, which I'll probably show off in the minifigures review because I'm missing one of those at the moment. And then you can also do the Drulu Cannon.
Shoutmon. Digi-Fusion. Darulumon. Drill Cannon.
So you can get Drill Cannon. And then obviously, I love how like scattered these cards are. You can also do Metal Greymon's combo, so put this in. That sounds like he's an O's combo.
Greymon.
Greymon.
Digi-Fusion.
So look that up. And well, I messed up on that one, but that was a good time to hear the error noise, which sounds like a boat, which I find to be hilarious. But I was going to show that afterwards, but I guess my own stupidity showed it for me, so it's a pretty funny noise.
Greymon. Digi-Fusion. Male Birdramon. Metal Greymon.
Metal Greymon. And then, like, if you were to try to do a funny combo like Male Birdramon and Ballistamon or something, it'll just make that horn ship noise again. And you, like I said, you can mess around with it if you want to. I find it easier sometimes to mess around with it if I have something in there, like...
Team Fusion Fighters.
That's Team Fusion Fighters, but with this one, for whatever reason, I always get...
Team Fusion
Damn it.
Fighters. Shoutmon times 5.
There we go. I always get Shoutmon times 5 with this, which is basically the current combo of times 4 plus Sparrowmon, I believe. So yeah, this thing's a bit strange. I would definitely prefer a more traditional Digivice to this. I always really dug those, and I do kind of hope we maybe get one later. But this thing, I think, was a unique idea. I have to give them props for it. I think the very idea of the press screen with the cards and, giving you incentive to buy the toys is obviously good marketing, and it was a fairly good idea, and I wouldn't mind this thing existing if there was a regular digivice. And it's sort of a fun idea. It's got some sort of show-accurate sounds, so in a lot of respects, it's actually pretty neat. But overall, even though its functions are cool and the idea behind it is kind of neat, it's actually really frustrating. The screen is really sensitive, so like I mentioned at the beginning, you will often mess up combos, and also when you're switching out for like fusions, if you are like just slightly off because of how sensitive it is, you can press this or this and reset your whole fusion thing. There was a couple of takes I had to edit out because it messed up because I ever so slightly pressed this and it reset the whole mechanism. So it was very sensitive, very annoying to deal with. And I would also have problems with the cards sticking in there. Like Ballistamons in particular, I couldn't get it to stick in here. And then when I would try to pull them out when doing the fusions, it would stick up here. So I honestly had a lot of problems with it. I thought it was kind of annoying to work with. If you're a Digimon Fusion fan, honestly, I would kind of recommend going for this, even though it's more expensive, just because it's a lot neater. Like I said, this thing has some really neat ideas, and I think it would be kind of cool to exist alongside a regular Digivice. But overall, I'm just kind of disappointed with it and find it sort of frustrating to work with. But yeah, that's really about it. Until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast at writersrangeandrambles.com. Until next time, it's Dawson Ryder, signing